So I told her like, just give me like 1 year of trying to do music, and I went on tour with A Boogie like after a year after high school. Me and Joe were the first producers to be in the studio with Pop Smoke working with him. You gotta brand yourself as an artist. In order to grow my brand, I had to start posting myself.
Today we're going to be interviewing an insanely talented producer who has worked with artists such as Pop Smoke, Mike Towers, Lil Uzi Vert, as well as working super closely with A Boogie and even going on tour with him at 18 years old, which is insane. We're going to be asking him about all those questions we all want to know about networking, building your brand in the industry, and how to get placements. So let's jump into the interview. Stay to the very end. You do not want to miss anything. Alright boys, we're here with DLO Beats. How's it going, bro?
All good. How you guys feeling?
Yeah, we're doing good, yeah. First up, take us back to the start of your music career. How did you get into music and like how did it all begin?
Yeah, I grew up in New Jersey, a small town called Perth Amboy. Like I've been around music like kind of my whole life. My parents were, they would be listening to all types of music in the house and stuff. My dad was an artist back then.
Really?
Oh shit.
Yeah, and my mom, she would like put me in like the school talent shows and stuff. She would like force me to get on the stage and sing and all these things, and kind of started from there. And then one of my cousins, he started like rapping and stuff. And my dad was actually the one that told me like, hey, you should be his producer. And from there is where it all started. I started making beats and stuff from FL. I was watching like YouTube and stuff. I learned pretty quick. YouTube like helped me out a lot.
Did you learn instruments when you were a kid?
No, I never learned any instrument, but I think in like high school I took like a keyboard piano like class. I kind of forgot how all that stuff went.
And so like you got into FL studio in high school? Like do you have mates that were producing as well?
I had an uncle who was, like I said, my dad was an artist. So his best friend, who I consider like an uncle, he was like making all the beats and mixing the songs and all of that stuff. So I would go with them to the studio, and he like pretty much was the one who taught me how to use FL Studio. And then I kind of like took it into my own hands, and I started like watching the YouTube tutorials, like Busy Works beats and all that.
Yeah, classic.
And that's where it all started, man.
When did you go like all in with music? Was there a memorable point you can remember you're like, alright, I'm gonna do this?
So I remember like after high school, I told my mom like, give me like 1 year, because she wanted me to go to college. That's for everybody. Everybody's family wants them to go to college. So I told her like, just give me like 1 year of trying to do music. And within like the 1 year after high school is when I met like A Boogie and Don Q and them, and I went on tour with A Boogie like after a year after high school.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's when I was like all in on it.
What year was that when you went on tour with him?
That was like 2019. I graduated like 2018.
How did you meet A Boogie then? How'd that relationship come about?
So actually it happened through Don Q. You guys know who Don Q is? He's like a close friend of A Boogie. They do a lot of music together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I met Don Q. I was like sending him DMs and stuff. Like I sent him a DM, he didn't respond. I sent him a second DM, and I was able to send him beats. And then like a few weeks later, he posted like a video like on one of my beats. From there, I like met up with him somewhere. I think at like one of his like neighborhood events or something like that. We went to the studio. That's where like I got to know my manager, who was a friend of his. And yeah, it pretty much happened from there. I kind of went through Don Q to try to get to A Boogie.
We noticed on your Instagram, I think his name is it Joe? Joe from YO, I think his tag is.
Yeah, Joefromyo.
Lots of your placements with A Boogie and other guys as well. I think Bryant Myers as well. I think was that with Joe?
Oh yeah, me and Joe, we did like a whole bunch of A Boogie songs. We did a Pop Smoke song. Mike Towers. We do a lot of records together. That's like my brother.
How did you meet him? Is he like someone you've known for a while?
It's a funny story, bro. Like after those songs with Don Q came out, that mixtape went kind of was going crazy at the time. So I had like someone reach out to me on Twitter. It was like a magazine or something, and they were like, "Yo, we would like to do an interview with you." So I did it, and at the end of the interview, the dude is like, "Yo, you should work with Joe from YO." I'm like, "Cool." So I'll check it out. I checked his page out. I think we like spoke through DM or something. Years later, I find out that it was actually Joe who was doing the interview, and he like plugged himself in so that we could work.
Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, he finessed his way into like working in the industry and shit. It's crazy.
Hustler.
Yeah, bro.
Pop Smoke and Mike Towers, bro. It's some pretty crazy artists there.
For sure.
Like, how do you get these placements and stuff? For producers watching this, like artists like that, is it something you just have to work up towards, or is it opportunities that pop up you need to get onto quickly?
Bro, like me and Joe, like while we were on tour with A Boogie and stuff, or even just us being around him, you could imagine like all the type of artists that are trying to work with him. We got to build our brand. We have to build our name, so people see us in the room with him, and we'll try to like maybe try to network with them, talk to the manager, talk to A&R. That's kind of how a lot of things came together. Just taking advantage of being around opportunities and creating that opportunity for ourselves.
When you're on tour with A Boogie, you're just out of high school. How old were you?
Yeah, I was like 18, 19, yeah, around there.
Shit. We're 18. I can't even imagine like being on tour with A Boogie at 18? That is crazy.
And it was like we were kind of like forced to like grow, like even just like music wise, because you know I started making beats maybe like at 16 years old. So you can imagine like only 2 years into it, I'm already like on tour with like a major artist.
Yeah.
And we had to just like learn pretty quickly and get better, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really pushed us.
Yeah, what's that like? So, like, after shows, before shows, were you making music with him in the tour van or whatever?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Whenever like there will be an opportunity where there's a day that there's not a show or something, we'll be at the studio either before a show, after a show. Me and Joe will be making beats like on the tour bus and stuff like that. Or whenever we find time to like go to the studio, we'll be making beats.
Were there any hits that you can think of that you made while you guys were on tour?
There's a whole bunch. But there's a song called Into It that was on A Boogie's Artist 2.0 album.
I'm innocent. I am a gentleman. Okay, I'm a savage, yeah, yeah.
That was like one of our first like records that we did together. Joe made the melody, I did the drums. And that was like one of those days, like I said, it was like a free day. We went to the studio. We were in New York at the time. And we made that song.
What advice would you give to, you know, smaller producers trying to work their way up? What would you say would be the best chances of producers getting placements, but also, you know, just to get their name out there, start getting heard, start getting seen?
I mean, right now, sample makers is like the key, you know? Like if you're a producer and you make fire samples and you can get it to the right people. Every day I get new messages of producers trying to send me samples and I respond to almost everybody. And right now it's the internet, Instagram, YouTube, just promoting yourself, DMing people, posting your work on your page and stuff. Someone's gonna hear it, especially if it's fire, someone's gonna hear it. And even just like showing up for opportunities, you know? Like if you're a producer from another country, maybe like you guys,
Yeah.
you know, going to LA, going to New York, Miami, Atlanta, all these places to like work and stuff. Everybody's working out there, so I would say like traveling for the opportunities and stuff.
I remember, it would have been like last year, very early last year when we started this like thing. I remember we messaged you, I don't know if you remember.
Oh, really?
It would have been like February, yeah.
Real early, yeah. We
Yeah.
were just trying to message anyone.
Because our songs were like shit back then. They were trash. And we were like just trying to spam all these people, obviously. Yeah, it was like a year and a half ago now. Is there a certain point where it's like, okay, let's just not message these guys, let's hold off, let's build a brand, build music? Is that super important?
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, working on your sound and getting it to a level where you feel like, all right, now I feel confident that I can start posting my work, and I feel like it's at a point where I can start, maybe sending samples to producers and stuff. I definitely think that's important, taking that time to just work on your sound.
When we started, we probably honestly ruined some potential connections just from sending like these whack samples. Yeah, definitely taking time to craft your sound.
I've made those mistakes too, like there has been artists that I've played beats for, like big artists I played beats for, and maybe I didn't catch a vibe to any of them. But it's like that just means that I gotta go back and keep working, keep developing my sound. For when the next opportunity comes, now I'm ready.
What does an average day look like? What are your daily duties? Random each day, or do you kind of have a routine going on?
It's been like 2 years I've been going to the gym consistently. I like to get up early, go to the gym, be with the family and stuff. And then I'm always taking time out of my day to just work on something, maybe make some beats. If I'm working with an artist or something, go to the studio. I got a studio in New York, so I'm over there a lot, locking in with like the artists that I'm working with and stuff. For sure, whenever you guys are in New York, just let me know. You guys could pull up.
Yeah, that'd be
Appreciate
fucking
that.
yeah.
My days are like what I make out of them. If I'm gonna be productive, then I'll do what I can and just make it productive.
If all your connections, all your placements, all your following was gone, but you kept your knowledge, you had all your skills still, like beat making, how would you go about trying to work your way up in the industry right now in 2024?
I will start posting content like on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I'll start posting beats on YouTube. If I'm great at making melodies, I'll post like tutorials or something. I'll start traveling. If I can come up with the money to travel, I'll go to like LA, Atlanta, New York, try to like just pull up to these studios. Maybe you got to come out of your pocket and book your own studio time, but you can make connections there. But yeah, like I would do my best to just grow my online presence, DMing people, emailing people, stuff like that.
You had Part on 24 Hours there.
Yeah, for sure.
That song's crazy, yeah.
I said, get your pretty ass right here, cause I miss you. Get up in your bag, ass fat, Gucci swims.
That's one of my favorite records, and that's like my biggest record right now.
Did you do the melody drums? Like, how did that come about?
So it was crazy, right? I'm sitting at the studio with Joe. He plays me like this beat that he had made, and I'm like, yo, let's flip that sample like to something else. We got straight to work, and I did part of the drums on 24 Hours, and I think we played it for A Boogie like either the same night or like a few days after, and that's when he started the idea to it.
Going back on the like any weird story or anything like that?
I don't have a weird story, but I'll say like an interesting one. When we met with Pop Smoke, when we had the session with Pop Smoke.
You did the session in person.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy because his manager had told us like me and Joe were the first producers to be in the studio with Pop Smoke, like working with him.
Real.
Shit.
Cause like, you know, most of his beats came from YouTube.
Edward Malloy.
Yeah, all those first songs, they came from like, I guess he was like downloading the beats from YouTube. So his manager had told us that we were like one of the first producers to be in the studio with him. The first beat we played him was actually a song that came out from G Herb on A Boogie called Glass in the Face. So we played him that beat and he was vibing to it. And then my manager told him like, nah, we want to try something different with you. So then we passed him the beat to the song Imperfections. A whole different vibe from what he was making at the time because people knew him for like the drill stuff. And so we gave him that and that's when he like got into like the singing vibe.
Baby, I just need some company.
That song did pretty great.
Being in the studio with Pop Smoke, would you have been like 20 maybe?
Yeah, I was probably, maybe around like 20 around there.
How was it being in the studio with those top artists? I'm sure with Boogie, like that's like normal for you now, but are you like hella nervous?
I feel like everybody would be nervous, you know, at first, especially when you're working with like when you're about to work with like a pretty big artist. But yeah, he was such a cool dude. Like he made everybody feel like calm.
Let's say producers listen to this, maybe they want to travel to these places like LA, Atlanta, and they're gonna end up in studio sessions. How should you carry yourself when you're actually in those rooms with artists and other producers?
This is interesting because I was just talking about this with my bro Joefromyo a couple days ago. Because the other day I was in the studio session with Hitmaker. When you get into these rooms, I feel like you gotta like read the room. You know, you don't want to walk into these rooms and be too much trying to play your beats when they're working on something else or something. Like just read the room, be yourself. Obviously, you want to converse and talk and network with people. If there's other producers or something in the room, but I would say just be calm and go in there ready to work.
How old are you now?
I'm 24 now.
What are your goals moving forward? Like 5 years, maybe even 10 years? Like who do you see yourself working with? What types of things do you want to be doing?
Honestly, now I've been so focused on like working with the artists like that I want to work with. Like I've been working with like newer artists that are coming up still, helping them develop. And as far as like the future, I can see myself just owning like my own record label, developing like producers, songwriters, artists, helping develop like the next superstars of the world.
For producers at home who also want to lock in with artists or maybe come up with artists, how did you meet these artists and how do you think producers should go about finding these artists and seeing the potential in them?
I found both of them through Instagram. Maybe for like a year, I was searching for like artists that I feel like I could see potential in them. Instagram, TikTok. I mean, everybody's promoting themselves on these platforms. So I would say like if producers see somebody that they really feel has potential and they don't have that much of a following or something, I would say try to build something with them because that could be like the next superstar of the world.
You know, trying to reach out with artists, you need a brand. You know, obviously if you're reaching out to an artist, they see, oh, he's working with A Boogie, Pop Smoke, all these guys. So how do you think producers should be going about building a brand, especially if they don't have these connections and artists already?
I would say right now, like the producer community is pretty like big. Everybody's kind of like connected, you know? There's people like posting content on like you guys are posting content on YouTube, people posting content on TikTok. Like I would say right now is like a pretty easy time to grow your brand as a producer. I mean, I'm still working on it. I'm not the biggest producer or anything. If you're great at making melodies, start posting content. Oh, how I made this melody, posting on YouTube. I was posting beats on YouTube, but I would say just take advantage of social media right now and build your brand.
For sure.
100%. I feel like some producers also just don't know how to like set up the Instagram in a way where it looks sick.
You definitely gotta like make sure your page looks like, you gotta brand yourself as an artist. Even though you're a producer, you gotta brand yourself like if you're an artist as well. Even in the beginning, I wasn't posting pictures of myself. Like I was just posting like, I don't know, like videos of beats and stuff. In order to grow my brand, I had to start posting myself like in the studio and stuff like that.
Lots of producers, they don't want to fully go all in with music. You know, some of them, whether it's their parents, they want to, you know, they have to do school as well. Do you think you need to go all in, or do you think you can juggle stuff on the side?
I mean, I would say like if you have to work a job to like provide for yourself and stuff, do that. But whatever time you have left, if you really want to be great, you got to dedicate that time to working on your craft and building that, because you can use that time to build your music career up to a point where it could start paying you more than your job and stuff. I would say go all in when like you see that the music stuff is like starting to pay off.
All right, bro, we'll let you go.
I appreciate you guys like inviting me on your platform. I wish to see you guys growing for sure.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, take care, guys.
Boys, some crazy sauce in that interview. We hope you took something from that. We definitely did. Now, we don't usually ask much from you guys in these videos, but we do ask that you go check out Instagram, check out our daily hustle, see what we're up to, give us a follow. More interviews to come, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.